Okay, welcome again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining me today is Vasil Shevchenko, former Transportation Minister of the Ukraine. Brother Vasil, it's a pleasure to have you on today.
Thank you. Nice to see you too. Thank you for having me.
Likewise. I want to ask you this question. I heard that President Zelensky had or was experiencing some issues in his military, and it seems more it was like some form of undermining the Ukraine for Russia. Is that true?
Can you
repeat the
ask
question?
me again?
Yeah. Okay. Is it true that President Zelensky had to do some shaking up in his military because it seems like there was some form of undermining going on?
Yes, and to be honest, now we had a lot of new issues in domestic relations, and first of all, to be honest, Ukraine's president have had a lot of meeting with Ukraine's military, and his last meeting concerning draftee service point. And it happened because of some scandal concerning results of investigations, their activities, and because of it, he ordered to fire all these officials who were responsible for servicing, for drafting soldiers for Ukraine forces, because it's public opinion that it's wrong way where when some person have opportunity to avoid to be drafted or avoid to serve our country. And it was his order, and he commented that it's fields concerning our headquarter commander, and he must implement it immediately, just to demonstrate Ukrainian forces and Ukraine society that this service will be clear and will be built at the honesty base. And this issue appeared after few journalist investigations, EU partners in Ukraine who's involved in domestic investigation concerning effect of corruptions or abusing in the office, were highlighted in YouTube channels, because you know that we don't have full-scale broadcasting, only so-called United Marathon. In this marathon, I included only a few channels, and it isn't enough to inform society. And in this combat events, in public opinion must be clear relations, and now he have commented that have been launched a few criminal cases against person who's allegedly abused their duties. And to be honest, it's accepted Ukraine society really positively because it cannot be covered in current events when part of Ukrainians are fighting at the battle line and other persons, including few parliamentarian visited luxury hotels abroad, and the reason of their visit was service trip. And because of it, I think it's right way, and we are fighting together. We know that we have really serious responsibility, not only Ukraine society and all world society, because we are we are in the war. You can feel it in media sphere when you can see a lot of propaganda's questions from Russia Federation, who's trying to use all mistakes in open and developed and democratic world countries as problem and trying to boost it, because first of all I think Ukraine's president have done his duty, and to be honest, we have a lot of the domestic questions, but main idea Ukrainians, it's to fight at the battle line, not to pay attention for our current domestic relations, because our main goal is to defeat our enemy and to be strong in this combat events. And we know that this responsibility is for our friends and for our allies who watching at Ukraine's power concerning support for Ukraine, for budgeting, concerning support for providing militaries, and because of it, these cases are really important. And at the same time, at this meeting was announced next meeting, Security Council of Ukraine, concerning commissions which are authorized for detecting soldiers for health. For health, if it's able to serve their service, because we have had a lot of domestic investigations, independent journalists team, and it's have received a lot of complaints for it, and because of it, next meeting we will see next orders concerning this sphere, and we will follow them, and we will comment it.
Yeah, I want to ask you this question. Apparently, Vladimir Putin had added approximately 2.4 million soldiers to fight this war. And what I don't understand is that recently he had been recruiting children, for the military. Where are he getting this 2.4 million people from? They're not getting trained, really, since he had resorted back to prisoners to help fight in the war. Where are these 2.4 million people coming from? Are they just normal civilians that he just drafted to get involved in this war?
To be honest, I personally don't believe this information from
Okay.
Russia Federation, because we know that they are lying every morning. Because, for example, they can tell that officially they were going to draft, for example, 500,000. They did it, but mercenaries which were included in mercenary group which were storming Bakhmut, for example, and 90% of them died during the storms, were not included because it thought it isn't military service and isn't person who were serving in paramilitary groups, for example. And them, they trying to force Ukrainians who were captured at the occupied by them territory to draft them and to send to the battle line to fight against Ukraine's army. And I heard that it was about 30,000 new draftee, and they were going to send to Ukraine army. Ukraine's military forces issued information for persons who were captured and who were forced to go to Russia Federation, recommendation how to go to Ukraine side and to be military prisoners of Ukraine, because Ukraine follows international orders, and all military prisons which Ukraine's forces have managed to capture are under watching Red Cross, and they have good conditions for life, and it isn't their treating to Ukraine's forces. For example, they are limiting them in food, and they don't provide them clothes, warm clothes during the winter time, and they don't give them residential houses with the heating, and they have to sleep outside without windows. And now we know that world society have seen a lot of cruelties and tortures from Russia's side against Ukraine forces and Ukrainian civilians. For example, now we can comment that they are trying to target residential houses to have more victims amongst civilians, because you see that they are trying to target residential houses in the cities close to the battle line, because they don't have enough high precision missiles, and they are selling old type of missiles just to blow city and to kill civilians. And it's happening in the time when Ukraine forces are breaking through first line. It was really difficult because of full-scale mining. There were a lot of mines, and Ukraine forces didn't have opportunity to cross it because of huge number of mines, and there were exploded few military vehicles, and after that that we saw a lot of investigations, but now at the south of Ukraine, at the south of the battle line in Kherson region, Ukraine forces managed to capture territory at the left bank of Dnieper, and there are Ukraine forces, and they are fighting between first and second line, and there are not enough mines, so many mines. It was before first line, and now we can see that some drones are attacking bridges and Russia's military objects inside of Russia Federation.
Yeah. Is there an intensifying strike on Kharkiv right now?
Yes, now they, to be honest, they are trying to distract Ukraine forces which are attacking Russia forces from south part of battle line, because there is a threat Peninsula Crimea, which was captured by Russians in 2014. And Ukraine forces are fighting at the distance 84 kilometers from the border with Crimea. And they decided to distract attention and started really heavy attacks at the north of combatant ends, because they have there a lot of ammunition, and they are trying to intensify shelling just to make Ukraine forces to evacuate civilians from, for example, Kupiansk city and settlements around the city because of higher threat. And but there is railway station, and this railway station through small city gives them opportunity to have a lot of ammunition, and they are transporting a lot of rounds and shelling Ukraine forces. But Ukraine forces are holding this line and are fighting back effectively using high precision weapon from our allies. You know that United States adopted agreement concerning supplying to Ukraine cluster ammunitions, and now these ammunitions are being used at the battle line, and it's extremely effective against infantry, which doesn't have enough ammunition, but because of it, they try to bomb Ukraine territory and to shell Ukraine's territory. And you can see that Ukraine's forces are effectively are fighting in counter attacks because in everyday statistics information we can see a lot of stations and stockpiles are eliminating during 24 hours.
Beautiful. So would you say then confidently that Ukraine is still on the offensive?
Now I don't have enough information because, for example, Ukraine forces haven't received a lot of information about it, but from Russia's sources we can see that Ukraine forces have managed success and managed to commit few offensive operation, and now this operation are threatening Russia's military units to be surrounded and eliminated. And because of it, they try to distract Ukraine forces from this attack, and are trying to shell and to move to Izum city. They were there, but they were driven out from this station. To be honest, Ukraine, since Russia's invasion, Ukraine forces have managed to liberate more than half territory which was captured by Russia Federation, and now we continue fighting, and you know that 3 or 4 months ago we were waiting Russia's attacks, and they tried to attack, and they sent a lot of soldiers at the battle line, which were killed by Ukrainian forces, and now they have to defend. And according to the Russia's domestic statistic in the south region, they have spent 20% more funding for concrete. They were concreting this lines.
Okay.
Defending lines. They were not ready to attack. They were preparing to defend territory they captured.
I want to ask you this question. The Biden's administration recently approved an additional $400 million in assistance to the Ukraine. Is the United States presently and its allies still giving constant and powerful support in this war?
Thanks a lot to United States and United States President Joseph Biden, who's our big friend, and who visited Ukraine, and who personally met with Ukrainians, and knows that we are friends with United States. We are a country which is fighting for democracy, and we have made a lot of actions against Russia Federation, and actions which allowed us to defend our country. And yesterday I saw that Germany approved to send to Ukraine a long-range missile, because on the eve of Ukraine's full-scale offensive operation, Ukrainian forces needs long-range missiles just to eliminate enemy's stockpiles, and to eliminate their logistics passes, to cross the roads, to eliminate bridges, that just to minimize opportunities to have a big number of ammunition at the battle line, because Ukraine forces effectively fighting launching long-range missiles from airbase, and it allows us to eliminate enemy's facilities in the back. And today, during the day, appeared information that bridge which connects Russia Federation with Crimea Peninsula was covered the clouds of fog, and Russia's sources commented that it was decoration, but and they commented that its Ukraine forces have blown to this bridge from old technology missile system C-200, which was result new technologies and managed to blow there. And we haven't seen the outcome of these results, but traffic above this bridge was stopped.
Okay.
Ukraine forces activities will be effective
Okay.
if we use these technologies, Western technologies, at our territory and abroad. Ukraine's territory, we are allowed to use only Ukraine's made weapon, long range and short range.
Well,
Yes.
Well, Vasil, we come to the last minute and a half on the program. I think we got some very essential information as to where Ukraine stands right now in the war. And you are doing pretty well. I just trust that this war will come to closure pretty soon, that the Ukrainian lives can go back to normal and start rebuilding back Ukraine.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that all Ukraine allies are doing well and staying focused, understanding the importance of keeping democracy alive. And until Vasil, we will chat again. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, my friend.
Sure.
Thank you for invitation and that you are support us, because it's really important. To be honest, my friends who can see it, really thankful personally, all your team members, that you are working and to highlight news, our opinions from Ukraine, because you know that we will tell only news we know from our sources and from our society, because we are in deep. All our family are socializing with our military soldiers.
Thank you. And for all those who will be tuning in on Living in the 21st Century, I want to say to you, have an enjoyable day.